Italy LGBTQ plus community fears what's next after far-right radical wins. The recent general election in Italy has given results in favor of the conservative bloc, which is dominated by far-right views. The nationalist Brothers of Italy group, led by Giorgia Meloni, emerged as the largest party on the ballot. Meloni is allied with the League, another far-right force led by Matteo Salvini, and the mainstream conservative Forza Italia of former Premier Silvio Berlusconi. Fabrizio Marazzo of the Gay Party said, quote, "Unfortunately, there are very real fears about an erosion of civil rights under this new administration," end quote. He added that it might become harder for them to run anti-LGBT discrimination programs in schools. Meloni, 45, is raised by a single mother and is unmarried with one daughter. She presents herself as a defender of Christian values and an enemy of what she calls gender ideology and the LGBT lobby. In June, an Ipsos poll showed that 63% of Italians backed marriage rights for gay people, up 15 points from 2013, and 59% were in favor of gay adoptions, an increase of 17 points from 9 years ago. So I just have to say that my initial reaction to the story is some questions. And I just want to say, I'm just curious, being that it's Italy, I'm wondering how much of this is related to the church, as it is in so many of these other European countries. I mean, that's just something I'm asking because I'd like to know about that. And also, how can she say she's not homophobic when clearly her stance on adoption and gay marriage indicates otherwise? And then when you guys were in Italy, you were recently in Italy, did you have a sense of this at all?
All LGBT, well, first of all, thank goodness that we went early this year before Italy becomes an unwelcoming place for LGBTQ plus, right? Because when we went, and we were so blessed to have so many tour guides that were LGBTQ plus, right? Mm-hmm. And all they said that they were just dealt with, that they weren't seen or heard, they were just okay. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like they were just not messed with, okay, so to speak. So, you know, this woman is a female Trump. That's what she is, basically, and she backs Mussolini. What the hell is wrong with her? Yeah. Well, didn't Mussolini put Jews in camps or some crap like that?
Well, this party is they are fascist. Yeah. They're fascist by another name. That's what they are, and they had to spend a great deal of time during this campaign going, no, we're not fascist. We're just pro-family, but they're not pro all families. Yeah. Right. And this is a legitimate. I'm not really surprised by this because if you look back to Brexit. Mm-hmm. From 6 years ago, if you look at the subsequent hard lines put in by Boris Johnson in Britain, the conservative elections in Poland and Hungary, this is something that is spreading across the continent, and it's not just former Soviet client states. This is happening across Europe, and when you look at the bigger picture, that's what should be scary.
You know, if production can touch it, can you bring up the picture where she has her arm raised? I'm not sure that we can do that, but if we can, let's see that picture again. One of the things that's very disturbing about Meloni is Italy has an election cycle. See that?
Yeah, that's
the only thing that we're not seeing is her hand up, saluting Nazi Germany in 1939. Right. That's what we're looking at there. The proof of that is she came to the United States for CPAC. Mm-hmm. She's running as a candidate to be Prime Minister of Italy, and she came to CPAC. Mm-hmm. She shot across the bow of every rights person in America or in Western Europe. And she was clear and happy to say, I'm willing to live in this wing of your American politics because that's the exact same wing that I'm going to implement in Italy. Mm-hmm. The interesting issue about Meloni is she's really a minority candidate. Mm-hmm. And she was really a minority and will be a minority prime minister. The way the system in Italy works, and many countries, especially in Eastern Europe, work, is there's many parties. You hear the turnover in Israel. I don't remember how many parties are in Italy, but like in Israel, there's a dozen. And so they create a structured government based on all of these different groups coming together. Well, multiples of groups of fascists and conservatives and alt-right, I'm on this issue, have come together to make this happen. The number of people that are really fascist in Italy are a minority, but the government is formed because of all of these groups coming together. It's a warning sign. Because why is this any different than what we're watching in Virginia?
It's really not.
It's not.
Right.
It's just a question of not enough people stood up to say, no, we're not going to allow this to happen. So as a result, minority voice begins to take over. And when you make like your point about Mussolini, Mussolini did not come to power to say, I'm going to become a fascist and start a world war and support Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler did not come to power in the 1930s under this fascist mentality that we're going to kill millions of Jews. The minority became stronger and stronger with people ignoring it, and more power is granted to the Hitler and the Mussolini to the point where they become the strong man and take over the country.
Right.
The minority, this is how the minority wins. And if we don't pay attention to that, we're watching examples of this, not only in Italy, but in the United States of America.
Yep.
And I have one more question about her. Does anybody doubt that she's a natural blonde?
What are you insinuating? I think that she is not a natural blonde.
That was my last question about her.
All right.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Lara are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.